Hi guys, welcome back to PowerPoint for Scientists. So in this lecture, I will show you how to work with animation in PowerPoint. So by showing a hands-on example, I will show you what you can work with selection panel and also animation panel and timing and sequence to create a nice animation for your presentation. And also you can use this technique to create a nice intro animation clips. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So you can see that this intro clip is made 100% using just PowerPoint. So let's just preview it one more time. You can see a lot of things going on here. The bubble is floating up in direction. The text are moving up and down. So how can you use it? So we will go step by step how to make this animation clip, and along the way I will show you how tips and trick of what you can use. So let's start with a blank slate. The first thing you want to do is choose the background. I will change the background to a yellow color, and then I will make a triangle to separate this background into two shades. So go to shapes and choose this triangle. So make a triangle and connect it to the corner of the presentation. So I will move it up and down until it stick to the corner, and I will change this to a darker shades of yellow. And then now I go to lines and then remove the line, no line. So you can see that I have the two different shades of orange or yellow. And the next thing I do is I will create a circle in the middle. So you can see the guide here, and I will hold shift and alt, so it will create a perfect circle and center it at the same time. So click in the shape format. Up here you can click to keep the aspect ratio, and I will just change it to 11 inch to make it even. You can always align. I will align middle and center, see, so it will have the perfectly center in the middle of the presentation slides. So next I will change the color, maybe a darker orange color, and I will remove the line. So you can see that is the same shape with my presentation over here. So I will copy this flash to save some time. So you can see that this flash is just made from circle and rectangle. So the first important tip, selection pane. So click on selection pane. So in this one, you can rename all of your shapes. For example, I'm clicking in the circle, and I can rename this shape into this is the outside of the flask. I will name it line flask. So by rename this, you will know exactly what shapes are you choosing, and also to choose that shapes you can click in the name. So I'll just rearrange it a little bit. To arrange, you can click reorder object, and you can move up and down. So this top part headspace is over the liquid. Click OK. So this is the fast way to rearrange all the order of all the objects. So I will just choose all the shapes and group it into one group of the flask. Right click, go to groups. So you can see that I can rename this group by double click into the group number 3. I will name it flask. So in all of these I can rename all of them. So this is like a liquid or water, and this is like the bottom of the flask. So I'll choose round bottom. So By using this, you will know exactly what shape is what, and by clicking here you can select the shapes and animate it very easily, because you don't know what rectangle 26 mean, but you know what is the neck flash mean. So this is a very important tip. Spend some time to rename all of your shapes, so it will help you along the line. So this oval here will be the circle in the middle. So again, go to Arrange and Selection Pane. Arrange Selection Pane. So you can see that here you can decide what shape you want to view or hide. So it's very easy to work with. So this create a very starting point for your animation video. So all of my shapes are in order that I wanted to. So the next, I want to create the bubble. So I go to shape, choose the circle, and hold shift to make it a perfectly circle, not the oval. And I will zoom in because this bubble will be pretty small. I will change this circle to white and then no line, and move it to the bottom of the flash. That's where the bubble come up from. I hold right click and drag to copy it, and I will make a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller bubble. So I have three sides of bubbles. So now I move it to the bottom. To click in a selection pane, I will rename all of them. So this will be a tiny bubble. So you can see that I can know which one is the bubble I click in. The big and the medium one. Medium bubble. So make sure that is that one. Next, I will choose the tiny bubble and click to animation. So from here, I click path animation, and I will draw a curve of the bubble rising up in the liquid. So I click, and then the second click, and when I move it create a curve. Third click, fourth, fifth, and the last click. And when I'm done, I click enter. So it will automatically preview the animation. So next I click in medium bubble. Same thing, draw the curve. Start from the center of the circle. First click. I want to move it opposite direction. Click here, the last one, and then click enter. When you hit enter, it will be the last point. Go to selection panel, choose the big bubble, and draw the curve again. From the center of the curve, the big bubble, I want it to move more slowly, so just 3 curve. Hit enter. So you can always open the animation pane up here. So tiny bubble, here you can choose the timing, on click or with previous, after previous. So the first one will be on click. The medium bubble will be with the first bubble. So I want it to move at the same time. And the big bubble will be with the same time. And if you want it to slow, you can choose delay. Go to timing, change delay. I'll have this in the medium bubble will be delayed half a second after the first tiny bubble goes up, and 1 second for the big bubble. And I can choose it repeat until the end of the slides, so the bubble would just keep rising up after it reached the top. So let's play it again. You see the small, the medium, and the big follow each other because they are half a second delay. It's a bit fast, so I will make it slower, 3 seconds. Click here, change to 3 seconds, and play it. So that's much better. That's what I want. You can see that it repeats again and again until the end of the animation of the slides. So the big bubble is a bit off, so I will move it a bit to center, and then I move this path to the center also. So you can see that all of the bubbles start from the middle at the bottom and rising up. That's what I want. So zoom out. So the next thing is will be the logo of PowerPoint. I'll just copy it, move it here. So I want it to raise up. So the animation I choose is floating. So it will float up, and move it up here. So it will float up here. Click preview. The bubble goes up, and after that logo will float. So this is the last animation. I'll just delete this. I want it to float. Yeah. So you can see that it's float up, and I will want to make it float slower. And after the bubble already rise up. So we have the bubble, we have the logo. The last thing is the text box. I'll just copy, paste here. Because I copy and paste, so all the animation of the previous slide also copy with the text. So you can see that they already have the animation within them. I copy these two icons of the DNA and the design scientist. So the fall will be a float down. So you can choose the same thing, click float in and choose the direction. Or you can choose fly in and you can choose fly up or fly down. So the word fall will fly down from the top, and scientists will fly up from the bottom. So this group, I can click in selection pane and rename them. So this will be the DNA design, and the group 44 will be the second DNA design. So go back to animation, so I know exactly what this is, and when I click in, it will highlight the shapes. So as you can see here, I have three pane, animation pane, selection pane, and the format pane. So these are how you work with animation and be organized. So let's preview it. I start with the bubble rising up, and then the logo float up, and the text float down, and some text float up. So you can see that it's very easy and simple to create an intro video clips. So in the next section, I will show you how to animate the step-by-step process. So this is extremely useful for our science field. For example, you find this figure and you want to animate it step by step, but this is the solid figure. And how to do it? You will choose the shapes, and what you want is you want to cover all the area of the part you want to appear first. So go to format. I will increase the transparency to see the back. I will choose the solid field, same with the background color, which is white. And what I can do is right click and edit points. So I can modify this rectangle become the custom shapes that cover all the part that I want to appear first. So the idea here is I want to cover it and then make it disappear. So when it disappears, the part in the background will appear because the part that covered that part will get removed. So go to the selection pane and I will rename this part. You can always choose selection pane. Rename this to be a pro face. And I will right click and drag to copy this to make it quick and rename this white part. So you can see that I keep the outline, so I don't want all the outline to cover each other. So I will make sure that every section is separate. So I move this point up and down. You can always add or delete a point. So to see how to use these edit points, go back to the previous lecture I showed you guys. So just keep doing like this, edit points and cover all the part. I will just cut it like as close as possible, because remember this is the white part that cover it, and if you have another for example you have a different background or another shapes, the white part might cover that part. So just make it cut as near as possible. So I will rename this to meta face. Next, right click, drag and cover this. So by keeping the outline, I know exactly where my white parts are. So it looked a little bit tedious, but it is very fast when you are used to it. And it's especially useful when you work with the figure that all the text is not in the order or rectangle like this. So I rename this part also. This might be metaface 2, and doing the same thing, right click to copy, change it to anaface. So if you create your own image, it'll be much easier. You don't have to do this. You can just make it appear. But if you take the image from the internet, so this is the way how you can present. So it's very useful if you teach a class and you want to make the animation. So it look like this is your own image, not like the one you take from the textbook or from the internet. So change the name. So within just like less than 5 minutes, I can animate all of this. So remember, this is the reverse engineer process. You want to cover the one you want to appear. Just delete. Delete to make it simple, make it close. Don't want these to overlap. And the last one will be the interface. Right click, go to edit points, move all the black point. You can right click to the black point to move between a smooth point or corner point or straight point, and drag the white rectangle to change the direction of the curve. just move up and down. So you see, right click here, you can change it to smooth point or straight point, and just like that you create a perfect cover. You can see that all the outline are not overlapping. You can choose all here and then remove the outline and move back to transparency, so it's totally white now. So in the selection panel you can start to animate it. So now you can see that by naming each shape is very useful to know which shape is what. So you want it to disappear. So when it disappears, that part will appear. So now you see the point, the protameta face will disappear. No, not the anaphase. Go back, Ctrl Z. This will be the metaphase. Appear. You can select all and click disappear, but I would just choose one by one to make sure is follow the order that I wanted. And interface, the last one. So let's just try it out. Blank and start from here. Another click is moving up. Click, another click. So it's a very nice process moving around. You can talk about that slowly and it feel like this is you own the presentation. So you can see that with just a few steps you can animate a process, and how to work with selection pane, format pane, and animation pane to animate a presentation or a clip. So thank you very much for stopping by, and see you in the next lecture.